Yellow. What's online works here. And today we're going to look at what I think is the easiest way to make lime mortar. Now, just because it's the easiest way doesn't necessarily mean that it's the most economical way or perhaps the most suitable way, but it's certainly useful for if you're doing like what we're doing here, a bit of daubing artwork for plaster. There's a loose brick here and there. It's certainly a much easier method if you're not so experienced than say the other methods where we slake quick lime. And the reason why it's easier is because of this stuff right here, which is mature putty from Cornish lime. Now, when we do the slaking videos, you see that we put powder in, we add some water, and it expands. That's what's called slaking quick lime. This stuff, because it's mature, has been slaked long before we got older, about 3 or 4 months before, and it comes to us in a nice putty form like this. Now, when you first get your tub of putty, one of the things that you're going to want to do is to pour the excess water off the top. I keep it in a little bucket like this, just because it's basically a sort of free lime wash, and it's what we use to sort of chuck on the substrate before we plaster, in a similar way to what you might use a PVA for, but that's plastering stuff, don't worry too much about that. We'll make some videos on that in due course. So, what are we going to need? We've got a mixing tub. Now this is a rubber tub. We specifically use these rubber tubs for slaking because of the exothermic reaction that occurs, the heat. You don't necessarily need to use a rubber tub for this method because it's already been slaked before we got hold of it. So there's not going to be any heat that comes off of it, it's just the handiest tub I had available. So the first thing that we're going to use, or we're going to need, three parts of washed brick sand. I'm using this little plastic bottle. It's the bottom of a Lucozade bottle. It doesn't specifically have to be Lucozade. There are other brands of sugary pop available. However, this is something that I use for videos so we can see what the gauging process looks like. So I've put 3 units of whatever this is into this bucket. That's 3 bits of washed sharp sand. Now what I'm going to do is get my putty, and I am going to put 2 parts of putty into this little thingy-mabob like so. Oops. Now the reason why I'm doing that is because all the historical references that we have to working with lime as a binder says it should be mixed at 3 to 1, like we did in the other slaking video. Now, if we had a product in raw, let's say, and it comes out and it goes through a reaction that makes it double in size, and that's what we could call the end of the refinement process, the slaking. If we're dealing with something that's already slaked, we need to add it at 1.5 parts to 1 binder. So when we put 3 in, we put 2 in so that it equals out at 1.5. If you watched the first video we did on lime mixing, we had 2 parts of lime to 3 parts of sand, and that's to account for the fact that we're not getting a very good slake. When we're doing a good slake in the video after, we can add it at 1 part lime to 3 parts sand, because when that slaking takes place, it ends up at 1.5 to 3. So because this is already slaked, we don't need to take that into account. We can just add it at 1.5 to 1. So, let's give it a mix round. Now, there are lots of different ways to make lime mortar. This isn't my particular favourite method. However, it can be handy if you're just starting out or a bit scared of slaking and want someone to do the hard work for you. Or, if like in this instance, you're doing a bit of plastering work and you need to, I don't know, relay some bricks or sort of bowl some walls up, oh, it can be quite handy for that. Saves you having to go out and buy some kit or something, do a slate yourself, make some more, and then do a bit of plastering with putty, which is something we're going to make some videos about, how to make plaster. It's all pretty much the same stuff, same methodology at least. So, one of the reasons why I'm not a particular fan of putty is, as you can see, this looks like slop. Now, because it's already got the water added in the slaking process, I can't really do anything to that to dry it out. If I was slaking myself and adding my own water, I could get it just the way I like it. However, that isn't an option for this. So if you do find yourself in a situation where you can't, for whatever reason, you've knocked a bit of putty mortar up, and it's like porridge like this, what you can do, just leave it for a couple of hours to carbonify, let it dry itself out, and then it'll be fit for purpose. However, what I'm doing here is that I'm actually plastering. You can tell by the scratch going behind me. So, this isn't actually too bad as a plaster. This isn't a finished plaster. It's a base. I've got to add some more things to make it into a plaster. But that would be quite nice to plaster with. So I'm going to use it for that. Not so much to lay bricks with. But you can add a little bit of balsamic in if that's appropriate. That dries it out. Or you can add fibres to it to make plaster. Or you can just leave it for a little while to dry out. Now, one of the reasons why this is not strictly preferred for, say, I don't know, building a wall or a larger pointing job, is when you slate yourself, you purchase 1 unit of binder, and then you add the water yourself, and you add the aggregate yourself, and you end up with a nice pliable mortar. When you're working with this, somebody has already done the slating process for you, so you're effectively paying for a half measure. It's effectively been watered down. Now that doesn't mean they're doing anything wrong, it's just part of the process. It's already been slaked, somebody's already added the water for you. That's why it's more, let's say, historically likely that they would use hot lime mortar as opposed to a putty mortar, because the weight in transporting that extra volume of water in the tubs wouldn't be particularly cost effective when you could just make it yourself. You could slake it yourself, you could do the process yourself on site. Lots of historic buildings have a sort of more, are able to do more sort of manufacturing things on site. You'll occasionally come across, they used to walk the stone down from the hills, dress it on the job, and then layer with it. You know, nowadays that'd all be done in a factory somewhere and transported due to the wonders of internal combustion. So having it slaked somewhere else and then sent to you as something of a modern luxury, something that wouldn't be afforded to the people that were building this house in the 1850s. So there's a little bit of theory to go with this. This is why people say it's not so historically accurate, but that's not to say that it doesn't have a place within restoration. You know, I don't think it's beyond belief that they wouldn't have slaked a big tub of lime, left it for a couple of months, and then started using it to build little bits and bobs here and there, or used it to fill out holes in the plaster with, you know, like I'm going to do. So, to recap, we've got 3 parts of sand measured out in the lucozade bottle, 2 parts of lime binder, because that's accounting for the lack of slaking on the side. Now, what I'm going to do with this is use it to daub some little areas of brickwork out for plastering, and yeah, that's it. So, if you found this useful, let us know in the comments, and as ever, like and subscribe. Thanks for watching.